All right, what's going on, Conscious Crew? It's your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Conscious TV platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious Crew member and telling them to get their black asses into the sanctuary. Also, make sure that you have your notification bell set to all. You can also donate to the platform, $Consciouztv and or paypal.me/Consciouztv. Conscious spelled with the Z on the end, just like it is here on the platform. All donation information and social media handles are in the description box below. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the link. Just let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
Hey, I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what's going on, Conscious Crew? Hey, everybody, let me speak to the Conscious Crew in the building. I know it's been a while, you guys. It's been a minute. Those of you who may not know, yes, I am out of town. I wouldn't call it vacation, but I am out of town. I am in the great state of Philadelphia, or as others like to call it, Philadelphia, because, baby, Philly is a dirty-ass motherfucking place, girl. Okay, dirty, child. They just had the damn septic and the damn janitorial services of Philly, hung up in suspension because they wasn't paying their sanitation workers correctly, child. Philly was smelling like a damn 2-week-old pamper for almost a month, child. So I'm glad, bitch, I pushed on through when I did. All right. What's going on, Ian Gardner? Hey, Amina. What's going on, Law of Attraction? Hey, Brittany. Hey, Jay. Hey, A Natural Sunflower. Hey, Dornita. Yes, Philly. Hey, Judge Shady Court. Hey, Boo. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Lauren. What's going on, Catherine? What's going on, Dream Doll? Hey, Ray. Hey, Corey. Hey, Rumors and Tea. What's going on, you guys? Hey, Kimani. What's going on, Les Fem? Hey, y'all. What's going on, St. James? Hey, Boo. Thank you so much, my love. What's going on, Nene? Hey, everybody. But there's something really also very familiar about Philly. I don't know what it is, but I feel very comfortable and feel like I've been walking around when I'm not in my guards and I'm not in my God form. Girl, I'm pushing around in a do-rag and a bonnet. And I be feeling so comfortable. I don't even walk around back home in a do-rag and a bonnet in public. But in Philly, it's like, girl, when in Rome, do what Romans do. And these Romans, girl, are a ghetto, honey. So, I be dressed like Sexy Red out in this mother. But we're not here to get into that. I don't know if this is going to be an entertaining live stream. This is mostly going to be a testimonial live stream and talk to you guys about a particular event that took place while I was here, which ironically is dawning upon the 2-year anniversary of the first experience that I had in Philly. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to bring up 2 of my good friends. One of those good friends actually witnessed the first leg of my edible trip, which was very dramatic, very extraordinary, very out of body, very religious, very vulnerable and naked and just over the top. It gave all the things. And I'm going to bring up another one of my good friends as well, who just knows me spiritually, knows me intellectually, etc. And they're going to just be here to hold the space and to ask questions and to, just talk about the things. And both, well, at least Bubs is definitely a smoker. Okay, so this is right up his alley. With no further ado, let me bring up Cosmic Nuage. as well as Buffs to God. Hi, guys.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Conscious Crew? Hope everybody is doing well.
Grace and peace to everybody in the building.
Can you guys
Okay.
tell the folk where they can find you at on social media before we get into this discussion?
You can go first, Cosmic.
Okay, just look for Cosmic Everything, KHOZMIQ. Just Google me. I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Anywhere you're looking for me, you're gonna find me.
And I share the same sentiments as him. I'm Bubs the God everywhere, including Cash App. But I'm Bubs the God everywhere. So yes.
And you guys know I'm Consciouztv across all social media handles as well. I will link both individuals in the description box below. Now, I want to specifically talk about my edible experience. For those of you who do not know, in 2022, I came to Philly with the same individual that I'm in Philly with right now. And from Philly, we went to Atlantic City. Once in Atlantic City, my friend decided that he wanted me to smoke with him. And I'm not a smoker. He's a smoker. He does this on a regular. This is his area of expertise. I decided, hey, I was on vacation. I'm open. I'm not a ruse, So I'm like, hey, let's do it. So we decided to go to a dispensary in Atlantic City. He got him some bud, and then he got me some edibles. Now, I have never taken edibles before ever in my life up to this point, and I had only attempted to smoke weed probably a handful of times. I never could successfully smoke through a traditional blunt, so I never really got like really high through smoking through a traditional format. And the only time that I really kind of felt something was when I tried to smoke through a bong. The bong kind of gave me more of a lift, and that lift was like just a normal lift. Like I was feeling light, I was feeling airy. I think Cosmic was actually at the house with me when I smoked through the bong, and I was very giggly. It's just like a very fun lift. You just feel kind of a little bit zoned out. I was feeling like if I didn't focus, I would start lifting. Like the room started moving. Like I had to focus to keep the room from moving. The room wanted to move and shift, and I could feel that something in me wanted to shift and move with it. So I would have to intentionally focus in order to, keep all the pixels of reality intact. But it was a very, fun, lighthearted, non-dramatic type of a high, like the type of high that I would expect, the type of high that I see other people have. So fast forward back in 2022 when I'm in Atlantic City and my friend gets me these edibles. Because I don't have any frame of reference, I have no idea what the hell to expect. I forgot what the dosage of those edibles were. They were, I think, a downer, if I'm not mistaken, something that kind of like takes you in.
So an
And
indica? I believe
indica,
it's indica. Yep.
I believe. Is it an indica, Cosmic? Because you've seen the packaging, and I don't know if you can
Oh,
recall.
I don't even remember. Yeah, that's been a
Yeah,
minute.
it's a downer. Because my friend here said that those were downers. The ones I took this time were uppers. We'll get into the more recent one, but 2022. So this was a downer. It was an indica. And we decided to take them while we were in the parking garage of the hotel that we were just leaving, because we were going to go into Atlantic City to find something to eat. So we took them, like, I think, matter of fact, it was like 4 p.m. We took them exactly at 4. Both of us took 2. Now, my friend said he done took edibles before. They don't do nothing for him. I mean, his bud barely does anything for him. But he took them anyway just to see what would happen. And the back of the packaging said it could take anywhere to like 45 minutes to an hour for them to activate. So by the time they activated an hour later, I had forgotten I had taken them because they just had not did nothing for an hour. So I'm in the car. You guys can go on my channel. I have a whole video where I chronicle play-by-play. I believe Cosmic joined me in that live stream as well, where I gave a play-by-play of what took place. Girl, it was, y'all, it was beyond the beyond the beyond the beyond the beyond the beyond. It was beyond the beyond. And I'm talking about I had a full on mind, body, and soul experience on those edibles. I was out of my body. I was out of myself. I was present with the Lord. I was practically on my face for 3 and 4 hours. I was calling reckless logic. I called cosmic. I was calling people, prophesying to them. Like I was literally gone in the spirit. Everything was completely amplified under this state. I was vibrating. I was having a very visualistic and a deeply emotional and psychological experience under these edibles. I mean, it was about as dramatic is going to be. We're talking about like literally Old Testament 40 days, 40 nights fasting level religious experience. It was beyond anything that I could have ever expected, and nobody told me that this level of experience could be accessible through the partaking of edibles. Matter of fact, when I went on the website in 2022 to look up the edibles before I took them, all of their reviews were completely normal. Everybody was like, oh, this helped me to go to sleep. This helped to relax my arthritis. This really calmed down my anxiety. So I'm literally just expecting the normal of the normal of the normal, but I'm having a full-on ayahuasca level experience. And I've taken ayahuasca in my life, and this was even more dramatic than my ayahuasca experience. So fast forward to 2025, I'm now here in Philly, right? And I haven't taken edibles or smoked weed or had any type of cannabis or anything since 2022 because I don't smoke on the regular. I caught myself just doing it socially because my friend wanted me to do it, and I decided to do it. And that experience was literally so powerful. I wasn't even high. I was stoned. I was literally stoned. I didn't really need another one of those anytime soon. So that experience really held me over until 2025, baby. Like you only need, those are like special occasions, very ritualistic type of experiences. It's not the type of high that you can have every day. It's not the type of high that's going to be practical for every day. It's something that's sort of a deep purpose in your life, and you need a space when you're in that state of consciousness.
Correct.
To not operate. You can't be at work with this type of high. You can't be behind the wheel of a car. You can't be out partying. This is not one of those highs. This is something that's going to put you on your ass, and it's going to send you out of yourself. It's going to pull every single thing that you are, everything that you desire is going to suck you in. It's going to consume you. You're going to be removed from space and time. So fast forward, I'm in Philly currently. I'll be leaving like Sunday or Monday. I'm here for a week. And while I was on my way up here, my friend was going to some dispensaries or whatever. And so we decided that, okay, like, get me something, you know, all y'all smoke, everybody here smokes and drinks or whatever. I don't mind, you know, getting lifted. But I only wanted to get lifted. I wanted to levitate. I ain't want to fly, bitch. I just wanted to levitate. I want to fly. Okay. So
I believe it.
So my friend was like, okay, like, you know, I got these peach mangoes. Now, let me tell you guys, the image of the edibles is in the thumbnails. It is from INSA. It is a peach mango, troches. I don't know how that's pronounced. It's vegetarian and gluten-free. It is 20 milligrams of THC. So there's a 20 milligram serving per gummy, and it's 400 milligrams total. Okay, 20 pieces altogether, 2.1 ounce container of these gummies. They taste really good, but they definitely taste like marijuana, like you can marijuana as you're chewing them. So day before yesterday, what is today? Today's Thursday. I got lifted, Tuesday? Yeah, so Tuesday, we decided we was going to go out. We was going to go shopping and just kind of, you know, move around Philly and get some things done. So he had asked me, he was like, have you taken any of your gummies yet? I said, no. So I decided to pop one. Now, I had forgot that my friend had said there's more servings in one of these than there was in the last one she took in 2022. So just be aware of that. But I totally have forgot that math. So I caught myself in my mind taking one, thinking I was doing myself a service, thinking that, okay, I'm going to take one instead of taking two like I did last time, forgetting that one of these is two of the indicas that I took in 2022 because they're a higher dosage. So I'm expecting in my mind that I'm just going to float. I'm just going to be ice skating around the city, you know, nothing dramatic, just going to unstiff me. Girl, an hour in, all heaven is breaking loose inside of every facet of my being. Let me tell you how synchronistic all this was. My friend had a 3:00 hair appointment. So I ended up just sitting in the car because his appointment was only going to last like 30 minutes. So he ran into the barbershop. I was, you know, out in the car with the AC on me. And because I had been through this experience one time before, I knew what was about to happen because you know, I haven't been through this. So now all the physiological changes are starting to occur. And I'm like, oh fucking God, here we go. So I called Cosmic. I said, Cosmic, it's happening again. It's happening again. It's about to take me again. I said, you gotta bear witness to this. I said, the truth needs a witness, and the witness needs the truth. You have to witness this. You have to be here with me for this. I was going to run into the barbershop with my friend, but then I was like, no, because I already know what I'm about to go through. I already know how dramatic this is about to be. I don't need to like be having this whole episode in this man's barbershop, and I'm just like crying and I'm terroring for the Holy Ghost and all this type of stuff for the stuff. So I called Cosmic instead. I said, Cosmic is happening. I said, I'm going to try to describe to you as much as I can objectively about what I am experiencing. And I kind of wanted him to just like document everything that's taking place. So the first feeling that I had was my bottom lip started quivering very dramatically, but it wasn't physically quivering in all reality. It was an inward quivering. It felt like my bottom lip was waving, that there was these like waves, these deep waves in my bottom lip. And so this feeling was there. And after that, I could feel my body begin to come under a deep relaxation, almost to the point that it was so swift and cunning that I didn't even notice that I had become like literally stoned. Like when people say I'm stoned, what I understand for me is that you are like physically stoned, like on rock hard, almost like a lucid paralysis.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just lucid doing this paralyzation. My whole body is stiff. I am completely still. My lip has now stopped quivering, but now here comes that classic high chingy smile. I'll call it the chingy smile. And it's when your cheeks raise up and you get that slight smile in your face and your eyelids begin to dim and to close. So you look very chingy. You look like high. And
Correct.
oh
Correct.
God, so I'm describing all this to Cosmic, like my facial muscles. I have a smile right now. My eyes have dimmed. And I also come to understand that the reason why your eyes literally begin to close, they don't close completely, but they go dim, is because your pineal gland is what's being activated. So this is about to be a third eye experience. You don't need your natural eyes for where you're about to go, bitch. So the eyes, the material eyes were closing, and the inner eye was being activated and being aroused. And then from there came the fucking lift off. The lift off. It was the same profound vacuuming experience where I was just ripped and suctioned and torn away from reality, just absolutely snatched up. I was raptured away. Shout out to LJ for the old nasty piece of reparations. Thank you, brother LJ, for your monthly reparations. You guys know that LJ is our residential MAGA supporter, and in order for him to stay in my life, I made him pay me reparations for voting for Trump every month. So this is his monthly reparation fee to me. Thank you, brother LJ. So I'm now being like ripped away from myself, and I am now completely inside of what the only thing I can call this thing is the heart of God. I am in the bosom, I'm in the eternal womb of God. I am contracting. God is breathing me in and breathing me out and is eternally giving birth to me. And I am in this contraction, and there is all of this synergy and all this love and all of this unbecoming. I'm just being unpackaged and repackaged and unpackaged and repackaged and undone to become, and I become to become undone. And there's all this pulling and in and out. It's like a literal, it's, and I know this is going to sound bizarre, but I don't care. I have to be completely raw dog honest to really illustrate to you guys what really be happening when you be having purely physical experiences. God be making love to you. Me and God were being intimate. This was a sensual, psychological experience of the divine, and it was unfolding and penetrating me and consuming me passionately, and it was relentless. It was like I was experiencing the passion of the Christ. I was experiencing Christ's passion, this unapologetic, all-encompassing, never-ending stride and stroke of love. And if you have any type of brokenness in you, any type of insecurity in you, any type of self-doubt in you, any type of self-loathing in you, if you have any type of traumatic injuries, if you have a pain body as a person, for a while you're in this state, you may feel completely unworthy. Because this, well, let me say this. It don't matter how much you think you love yourself and how much you think you are aware of God's love. Once you get God's love, you're still going to feel unworthy of it. It don't matter what, the most self-assured, the most saved, sanctified, religious person who just thinks that they just know God loves them, even they will be on their face melted like a candle before this love. It is not a comprehensible love. It is a experiential love. You can't intellectualize it. You can't philosophize it. You can't, I mean, you can, but you can't. And it's not something that can really be communicated or conveyed. It has to be something that people make a personal and intimate contact with of their own. I don't want to go through every single grueling detail with you guys of what I went through, but the gist of my experience is that I hooted and I hollered and I went to church, and I remember calling what I said, this is church. This is the church. This is church. This is church. And I kept talking about the truth and how the truth needs a witness, and the witness needs the truth, how the truth demands that there be a witness. I kept talking about this relentless love that whatever this is in its nature, it can't let me go. It won't let me go. It refuses to let me go. It's not capable of letting me go. This thing was undoubtedly completely and personally fixated and focused upon my beingness, and it took me into itself, and I was devoured up in it, almost like a child nested perfectly in its mother's womb or in its mother's bosom. Like I was in the bosom of God. Like I was experiencing this healing and this upliftment and this transformity. And it was moving through every part of my soul, every part of my being. At one point in time, I started saying the cosmic, I remember. And I started to scream this almost like a slave cry, because God was forcing me to remember God, to remember home, to remember where I came from. Because, you know, once you come into this dementia, and not this dementia, when you come into this dimension,
Mm-hmm.
you get hit with the amnesia. You don't remember anything prior to incarnating as a human. But in this state, I remembered myself. I remembered the space, the reality, the frequency that I was in prior to incarnating into a biological. I remembered the truth.
Mm.
I remembered. I remembered from the deepest, deepest part of my remembrance through all the incarnations. I remembered the ultimate reality, the ultimate truth. And it, it, hold on, y'all.
Mm. You good? You good?
Um, it was the beyond of the beyond. I do that. Those. It was so many elements of my experience. There's also like a running theme amongst the spiritual community about like the like a big like cosmic. You may be able to explain it better than me. Like, can you explain like the whole cosmic joke thing? Because I know we talked about this like years ago, that there's like a big cosmic joke, and once you get it, and you like. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, that once we pass to the other veil of consciousness, and we're able to see life from a much grander perspective on the eternal side, and we see everything in its true perspective, it's hilarious.
Mm.
It's absolutely hilarious. Even the darkest and lowest and most traumatic parts of our life, when we are on the other side, we look back at that and we actually get the divine joke. And that really is bliss. That's nirvana. That's heaven. It's eternal joy, because you just can't stop laughing from realizing the joke.
Mm.
And should I share the joke? Should I share the aha?
Share the aha.
Huh?
Yes, let's hear it. Let's hear the aha.
You know, we are down here as humans having this big fuss over life, you know, over our political views, our cultural views. You know, there are
Mm-hmm.
differences across the board in identities and orientations and faiths and ideals and philosophies. And there's all this rigmarole going on in the planet. And we are so fixated on our everyday lives and the ins and outs of life. But when I was remembering home, and I was remembering God, and I was remembering myself, I just began to like cackle hysterically because I remember that, oh my, all this fuss, when the simple hilarious truth about it is that this is all the drama of God. Like, we're
Mm.
living in the drama of God. Like, look out into the universe, look out into the stars, look out into the oceans and the seas, look out into humanity and into culture and governments, and look out into all of the so-called natural world and creation. All of this is just the drama of God. That God is the drama, and the drama is God. And I
Mm.
was on the phone with Cosmic, just laughing, like, oh God, like, yeah, oh God, oh, here comes God, oh God, the drama of God, like. And I just kept hearing this skit in my spirit, and I was so tickled, because looking back in retrospect, it's interesting that this was like the big aha, like calm down, like you're a human, but you're not a human. You are a soul. Like you're not the body. This is a simulation, and everything is going to be okay, even when it doesn't feel like it. Even when there's suffering, it's okay. Even when there's hurt, it's okay. Everything that you think is bad, that you think is not good, everything that is being harmful, understand that it's okay, because the will of spirit, the will of God is persevering no matter what it looks like, moment to moment. The perseverance of God is in creation and is in man, it is in all of it. So don't get completely blindsided by what becomes of the next hour, or who gets bombed, or who gets hurt, or what craziness is taking place. Remember that this will of spirit is persevering, and I was able to, in this heightened state of consciousness, I was able to perceive the peacefulness and the just and the easiness of the truth, that this is all the drama of God and everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. And even the way I was laughing had a cadence to it in and of itself. It reminded me of one of those fat belly cartoon characters from the 80s who has this very high pitch, very jovial, almost Santa Claus like laughter. It is this very contagious, jovial, purely joy type of a laughter, and it was like just the height of funny. It was just powerful. It was powerful. And there I was able to intentionally bring myself back when I really wanted to. It took a great deal of focus to do that, but the window to do that was there. I wasn't completely like, that's how I know that spirit is a gentleman or a gentlewoman because even in all of that, God gave me a way out if I wanted out. Like, God gave me consent. God gave me the opportunity to consent to my experience by giving me a way out. Even with as relentless as God's love was, as perceivable as God's love and God's oneness and God's connection and God's spirit was upon me and for me, advocating for me, rooting for me, pushing through me, moving as me, personifying, projecting itself through me, that as much as I could understand and experience that God needed me, that me and God were one, that this love cannot be destroyed, it cannot be determined, it cannot be limited, it cannot be separated, that only you can separate yourself from this love. This love cannot separate from you. Only you can separate from it. Even with all of that, God gave me a way out if I wanted out. If I didn't want that love. If I didn't want that harmony. If I didn't want that alignment. I was able to pull myself from it if I wanted to. And that spoke volumes to me about the nature of spirit. Because I was able to completely understand the character of this love, but also I had autonomy as a person, as a perceivable single cell organism. And I thought about how, because this is the second time now that I've had these type of ayahuasca leveling experiences, it made me think about how all religions have gotten it completely fucked up, especially the Abrahamic ones. And this idea that God is isolated to a text, to a literature, to a building, when you literally are the mirror of God, is diabolical. That this that the concept of God has been raped and defiled and has been reduced to this commonness, or reduced in such a way that it strips spirit of even spirit, because it's not even spirit anymore. You've made spirit the literal building, and you've made it the literal book. And I thought about how this is literally what people are missing from their lives. They don't need to be eyebrow beat with the fucking Bible. They don't need to be eyebrow beat by a fucking minister. They don't need to be berated and menaced by the church. If people had a sound sufficient teacher who could welcome them into the direct and intimate experience of God for themselves, nobody would even be codependent upon a leader. Even though leaders are going to be necessary for demonstration, they're going to be necessary for invitation, but they won't be necessary in terms of a crutch or you having to look elsewhere for God. Because a proper and efficient teacher is teaching you to see God in you as you. The whole time I was in the state, that was the only truth. The truth is you. 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 Not the you, but the you. You, the truth. You, the truth. You're the living, walking, breathing personification of spirit. You're just spirit in a biological flesh suit. All of the universe is observing and moving and interacting through material creation, through this material body. Think about bodies as like an astronaut suit. It's not the real you. What's in the suit is the real you. What's utilizing the suit is the real you. The suit itself is not you. And the suit that you're in on the planet you are curious about isn't even your home. The moon isn't your home. Saturn isn't your home. Like Earth is not your home. This is all experiential. This is all spirit experiencing itself through every last single one of us. And as I was sitting in that car with the AC blowing, and I'm just having church right there from the front passenger, completely raptured up and caught up in spirit, completely going through the motions of God's oceans. I'm just like, this literally is the church. What this wherever you are is wherever church is. Wherever you are is wherever God is. Whether it's on the side of the curb, parked in the driveway, chilling at home, reading the newspaper, in your cubicle at work. God is not. God is local, and the local is you. If no wonder religious devout people are in all actuality very unhappy. We've been seeing a lot of corruption in the church, a lot of corruption in religion. Now I know why. Because when you have the stuff of spirit rather than the substance of spirit, you're going to be left with those type of spiritual deficiencies in you. We're relying on the stuff of spirit. The stuff is the culture of religion. The stuff is the culture of the rituals and the way we ritualize God. Very few people are having the direct and intimate experience of the creator, and when you have that, it changes you in ways that are almost inarticulable or inarticulate. I cannot imagine. It's almost disgusting at how much God has been raped of God and how much satisfaction people are really left with in their lives with the peace of God that they've been given a hold on to. I am going to go home as somebody who doesn't smoke cannabis, somebody who has never relied on any type of narcotic. Everybody in my life knows that, like, one of the reasons I've never really been indulgent in narcotics and the reasons why I have strayed away and been drug free is because I already feel like I'm too spiritually sensitive as it is. I don't need something else kind of taking me over and beyond the veil, because that is almost my everyday experience to begin with. What I've experienced on edibles is a prime example of why the fuck I don't do damn weed or edibles or, you know, any type of psychedelics, etc. But I've been blown open now. I've been completely blown open. I've been introduced to something that is beyond anything that I've ever. It's beyond anything. It's beyond any and everything that I've ever seen, I've ever witnessed. It is beyond. And I'm one of the very few people who are having this level of experience on edibles. Even when it came to these peach mangoes, I went on the INSA website and looked at the reviews before I took these edibles. And everybody, just like in 2022, was just having a peaceful experience. Oh, this helped me with my creativity. Oh, this made me excited. Oh, this calmed me down. There was nobody on the 6-7 pages of reviews who said, bitch, I was with the Father, Son, and the Holy Daughter. Not nobody. I'm literally like either one of one or I'm one of few. I'm a part of a very small minority class of people who, for whatever reason, when I interact with this, that it stimulates me in these very extreme and extraordinary ways. And I'm a personal believer that when something is unique, the universe is trying to introduce something unique then into this reality. So I'm going to put on a brave face as somebody who doesn't typically do these things, who does not indulge in THC or cannabis, etc. And I'm willing to explore the way that this thing activates me. I am going to go home, and there's going to be lots of experimentations around edible use and cannabis and seeing where and what can be perceived in the state of mind. When I was in that state, because I was in that state for a very long time, on Tuesday, I could also see the hearts of men. I could discern their character. I could discern their hearts and their intentions. And the good in that state feels so good, but also the contrast feels so contrasting.
Yes.
Feel the ugliness. You could feel the ugliness of where it comes from in people. It's a very, 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 very eye-opening, lucid, deeply aware state to be in. And I would not be surprised if there are things that I could perceive in the state of consciousness that could lead to some very profound evolutions in our current studies of consciousness, which are even being picked up on by mainstream science. You know, we have a lot of doctors and scientists now who are studying NDEs and psychics and mediums and studying consciousness and what is consciousness, where does consciousness come from, what are its capabilities and faculties. I mean, imagine if I could touch someone in this state and possibly heal them. I could transfer healing into some, as long as they touched and agreed to be healed in this heightened vibrational state, I could heal. Imagine if I could perceive information, or I could diagnose people in a state like this. I could even produce remedies for what they are suffering from. I mean, it's just no telling how prophetic and intuitive could I be? How much of the future do I have access to? Because when I was on the phone with Cosmic, at one point in time, I was able to communicate with him that I'm no longer in space and time. Space and time have completely dissolved. All of these social constructs of life have been completely obliterated. I don't have a body in this state. I don't have a state to live in this state. I'm not in a car in this state. I was completely removed from time and space. All of my shallow identities and existences were completely dissolved and had died. I was vibrating in the very image of God that I was created in. That is what I was reduced and left to, is my original divine self. We've come into space and time, but we are not a product of space and time. We're not even completely governed by space and time. All those things were removed from me entirely. So we're going to go to work. And let me tell you something, you guys. I fully believe that we are on the verge of something really deep, something that has the potential to start an entire movement scientifically and medically. I know that I'm not the only one who are exploring the correlations between the medicinal use of cannabis and marijuana and its potential holistic effects on the trauma and on bodily pain and even spiritual pain. But I am definitely going to be someone who is a part of the pioneering of this particular area of research. And I feel completely honored and humbled to be called to such a thing. The fact that I am a rare person having these type of big, even my friend who is a smoker, he was just like, Doc, you are like, your experiences have me vexed. This is the second time I've witnessed this happen to you. And even for virgins, even as somebody who has no tolerance, etc., they're not having this. I said, I know. I said, I don't know why I'm having this level of experience on edibles. Nobody is. Not the people who partake in this, not the people who intentionally buy this stuff and use this stuff, whether it's their first time, their last time, whether they've been doing it for 5, it don't matter. Like, I am literally a part of a minority of people, and I have to lean into that. I have to lean into that because Spirit is putting something on my shoulders. Spirit is putting something on my back. And I've got to be courageous and bold enough to carry it. And that's what I'm going to do. And so since Spirit has chosen me as a muse, I'm going to submit myself and allow whatever this is to come into human history and to grow legs of its own and to go where it is it's supposed to go. I want to ask you guys for y'all's feedback. Any questions of Cosmic? You know, you witnessed this for the first time.
Yeah, I have 3 questions.
Mhm.
So, was there any moment where you thought, "Oh no, this is too much"?
Yeah, but it was only because of the environment I was in. Not that it itself was too much. Only because I'm parked on the side of a curb in broad daylight, reclined in the front passage. Was I like, oh no, I can't do this here. I can't, not here. I'm about to lose it. And because I have been through this one time before in 2020, I knew. And look, and if anybody would have saw me in that car, like if my friend would have happened to get in that car with me while I was there, he probably would have had to call 911 because it looked like
Mm-hmm.
I was really sliding up the chair. Like there was, because I wasn't comfortable having that experience in that setting, there was a part of me initially that was resisting. And I was trying to pull myself out of it because I'm just like, not here, 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 not here. And because I've been through this before, I also knew that this is a very holy experience. This is not a very, this ain't no casual sit around with friends, get fucking high. This is temple level transcendence. This is transcendence. This isn't even just fucking high. This is transcendence. And when you know personally how personable and vulnerable and how deep an experience like this is, you know that this is something that needs to happen in a space where it can be celebrated, where it can be properly discerned, and where you can be truly taken care of, because that's just what it is. Just like a lot of people, right? When they go to church on Sunday and they get into the spirit and get into the groove, like they're willing to get as active and committed as they are in that space because the temple is the safe space. They wouldn't do all that at work. They wouldn't do that in the line at Walmart. They wouldn't do that in the parking lot outside a Dollar General. They're going to reserve that level of intimacy, that level of activity and interaction with spirit for the proper space and the proper audience. I wasn't in the proper space for what I was going through. And because it wasn't even my intent to transcend. I only took one thinking that I was going to just glide and I was just going to skate, like I wasn't even trying to have this experience. So once it started happening, it's like, no, because I would have done this intentionally. I would have decided the proper space and the proper time to do this. This is not something I would have just done and activated just without proper planning. And now that I know that it doesn't matter what the milligram is, it doesn't matter whether it's an up or a down, or whether it's a sativa, whether it's an indica, it don't matter. It's going to turn me every which way but loose, no matter what the fuck is going on. I had a lesser dosage in 2022 and had the same level of experience. So I would not perverse this type of experience and this type of intimacy by just casualizing it in that way and just popping a gummy on the back of a pickup truck headed toward a festival. I would not dare casualize something like this because it is too intimate for that type of casualization. It's too intimate for that. I would never do that. So you said you had another question?
So, so how are you feeling now that you've landed? This has been 2, 3 days or so ago. Here we are, 3 days after the experience.
How do I feel now that I've landed?
Mm-hmm.
I feel landed. Um, I feel good. I feel good. I feel solid. I mean, I feel good in terms of my feeling. When I was coming down, because like this thing happens to you in waves. Like there's like at first there's going to be this very dramatic takeoff, like a rocket taking off of a launch pad into the outer space of it all. Then once you kind of get outside of the gravitational pull of Earth, things begin to level out a little bit, and now you're just kind of grazing across the abyss of space. That second leg was kind of like the grazing, where I was just okay, I'm chilling. Once we got home, because when my friend, and you heard him when he came to the car, he was like, "Oh, bitch, you look like you just got." I forgot what he said, but he could
You say
see,
you look high. That's what he
yeah, he could
said.
see the experience on my face because I was crying. I had on, y'all. I put on single eyelashes, baby. I had them cried all my eyelashes off. I was bald in the eye once he had done got to the car. My eyes were completely red. I was tore up. I looked like what I had just been through, honey. I had just been through the Lord, and the Lord had just been through me. We had done been through each other. It looked like what somebody looks like coming out of intimacy physically with somebody, toe up, hair undone, baby. The Lord done put me in doggy, missionary, baby, slide it, baby. Baby, I looked like I had just got dog walked in the best kind of way by something, baby, by Big Daddy, Big Mama, or Big Him, Her, whatever the hell you want to refer to God
Big
as.
them.
Big them. I had done been, baby, God had done turned me every which way but loose. So once we got home, the experience, the initial drama. Look, the best way I can describe this shit is like, nope, let me not, because I don't want to do that. After the initial drama of the experience, once we got home and I was able to like sit on the couch, I felt leveled, but I could still feel that power. And it was like a physiological, tangible energy, and it was lucid in my chest cavity. Like I could feel this pressure or presence. I don't know what you want to really call it, but it was a tangible energy, and it felt like it created a ring, like a Saturn's ring around me. And even at this point, I had more lucid conscious control of myself, but I could still go into it if I wanted to. Because when my friend was talking to me and asking me questions, and like I would give him these long academic, scholarly explanations. And so this thing would just kind of like draw me back into itself. But I was able to like draw myself out a lot easier. And it was just this real beautiful like wave of stillness and just completeness. And I was just standing in the vibration of all that I am. And I was just teaching through the clarity of that alignment. And I could feel that I had access to everything in that state of mind. I had access to all knowledge. I had access to all people. I had access to all truth. My eye was fully open. My eye was fully open. I could see all. And now that we're on like day 3, I have resurrected. I resurrected. I've came out of the tomb. I've came out of Jerusalem. I've came out of Hades. I've came out of Abraham's bosom. I'm back in the body. But I definitely feel like I'm in a transcended state of consciousness because I was able to see some clarity. I was able to also come back with some things. I witnessed things in a state that I'm never going to forget witnessing and perceiving. But, now I'm just kind of just looking back in retrospect, but I feel free. I feel like I have the strong sense of this is not real. And that is going to cause me to live my life a lot easier. Like, if I didn't care about what people had to say before, I definitely don't now. Like, I'm so utterly clear that this is not real. And there's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can really do to hurt me. You're not real. The you that you think you being doesn't even really exist. Who we think we are is just our ability to imagine ourselves. But we are using our imagination. Like the ego is a creation of the imagination. I'm not the ego. You're not the ego. Not in all actuality. But I'm just in the state of like, this is not real. And that's why I've been walking around in a bonnet. Because it's not real, girl. Like,
So chill out, Monique. Chill out.
I'm right here dressed like motherfucking sexy red. Like, it's not real. Like, I don't have a connection. I don't have a connection to the realness of it all. Like, I've been up, my friend, he plays the news every day, all day. And I'm just like kind of looking at this stuff. And even the way I'm experiencing it, it's just like, I see what's happening. I'm aware of what's happening, but I'm not I'm not internalizing it the way that I would have been prior to having this experience. I don't feel the dread. I don't feel the nihilism of it all. I don't feel the apocalypticness of it all. I just am observing. I just feel like I'm observing, and I'm observing with understanding, like with true understanding, not with like human understanding, but like with the understanding. And I'm like, oh, no wonder God is so cool. No wonder God letting all this shit go on here. Like God is observing with all the understanding. There's nothing to be in a fuss about. Like no wonder we haven't seen God's hand come and just smack shit around. It's not necessary yet. It's not. That's not the way God is internalizing humanity. It's not the way God is perceiving the things that are happening here. I feel like I'm sharing that mind of God about the matters of man. So that's how I feel. I feel observant. I feel still, and I feel like I understand. Like I understand. Did you have another question?
So some of this kind of hit all at once. So did anything taste or sound or look different than usual or better than usual?
No. Everything physically feels the same, but like everything internally looks interesting. It's like my feelings, my inner perception, but no, everything still looks like what it looks like from the outside, but everything does look different from the inside. Not everything, but the difference that I am perceiving is a inner difference more so than an outer difference, if that makes sense.
What was the best part of your high?
Hmm?
What was the best part of your high?
Being with God. It was like running toward, it was like a sprint toward healing. It was like a sprint toward a long lost lover, like just like it was like sprinting toward your twin flame. It was this experience of just like I just felt seen again, and I felt like real love again. I felt it, and sometimes I struggle with that in my human form because human love is so deeply convoluted and it's so deeply narrow and restrictive and prohibiting and so limited, and it a lot of times just leave for me personally like there's always a lot left to to be sought after. I before I came up here I had realized that I was having somewhat of an intimacy um deficit. Like I just wasn't getting enough. Like I just wasn't getting enough. I just wasn't getting enough affirmation, And I'm somebody who's for the most part on my own. I've separated from my family, like my biological family, like largely. I have a very, 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 very small circle of people, and so that small circle is kind of like where I pull my like where I pull it from. But when I was in that state, like that's what I was looking for. Like what I was looking for in people is in spirit, is in God. And there's kind of something bittersweet about that a little bit. It's kind of like on one hand, I'm just like I don't initially it's kind of I kind of felt a little sad in terms of what that may mean for my human experience because I'm just like, well, damn, now that I know what love actually is and what it actually feels like and what it thinks like, can I even be satisfied? But then for two, I was just like, well, I have God, and that's not even the alternative, but that's that's where I have to get that. Like when it comes to the need for depth and the need for just a relentless, unapologetically, non-insecure, I don't care what this looks like type of a love. I'm just gonna love your fucking ass, and I'm just gonna love you. Like I'm just gonna fucking love you. Like when it comes to that level of love, I have to go home for that. I have to go to God. I have to go inward for that. Um, and I am happy to know, that that's accessible. It's just not going to be accessible through the traditional means that I've been taught it's accessible. We've been taught really to cultivate meaningful friendships to get that. Cultivate, and find you a lover to get that. Go cultivate children and go, um, you know, live out your purpose in order to connect to that. But, I have been deeply underwhelmed with the feedback from doing all those things. But this was that. Like this was that contact. This was that head-on collision with just a raw, a primal, unmasked love. So there's that. Another question.
And that's it for now.
Do you want to tell the people what you witnessed and what this sounded like from the outside in as you witnessed me go through the motions?
A lot of the time I was called, it seemed like you were someone already in the full
I
swing
wasn't.
of it.
I wasn't. I was literally at the threshold of it. Like it was just started. I hadn't even, the only thing I had felt at that point when I called you was the quivering. That was like the literal beginning of it. Because as soon as I felt it, I was like, oh, I gotta do something. Like, because I know what's about to fucking unfold, you know, from here. But that was the beginning of it. Is when I called you. But once I got you on the phone, and once I felt like, okay, I got somebody in this, then I was able to immediately just kind of let it do what it does. So I could see why you might have felt like you probably entered in the middle, but you didn't. It's just like it kind of it was tugging on me, but I ignored and resisted the tugging until I could get a witness, and then I slid in. I allowed it to take me away from me.
I could tell in your tone of voice that you were altered. You had a very distinct, deeper tone of voice. Your voice was much lower than typical. And when I heard you in that state, it took me right back to those years ago.
Hmm.
So this sounds familiar. Because you were so low, you were deeply into this state. One of the things that you said that you already mentioned was, I remember. Remember all of those lives, remember all of that love. I got that same energy from you that last time. You are love, we are love. It's just love. It's all love. And I thought to myself, if I should be recording this, but I just took some internal notes. I said, we're going to want to reference this again later. I look forward to doing that. I look forward to the investigations and the experimentations.
Okay, you talk a little louder.
I said, I look forward to the investigations and the experimentations that this is going to trigger from here.
You observed a lot.
I observed a lot, but I heard
A
very
lot more
little.
than you actually remember.
What's that?
I said it seemed like I remember a lot more than you remember.
Well, yeah, I mean, you were having the experience. I'm quite sure. But when we were on the phone, your voice was so low. I think from your perspective, you didn't
At
understand how
points,
low.
at times it was.
But there were, and then the
Times it
other
was
points, you were so
extremely elevated.
overwhelmed. What is it?
I said, and at other times it was completely elevated.
It was very elevated, and those are the very major points. You know, contracting in the womb of God. The truth is in me. I remember you were in this deep weeping, this very deep and profound, overwhelming weeping. I could hear the heaving in your voice. I could hear the change in your breathing. So when your friend came by and said you look like you was high, I can only imagine. I imagine you really had cried out all of your lashes and everything else. I could hear it. You sounded seized. So how long did you feel that experience? I know some of it you were kind of pulling back, but how long did you feel that tug present?
That tub was, like I said, it was there for hours. It was there even after I got home, and we sat on the couch. I could still feel its presence, and I could feel like I knew I had the opportunity to go back in, and I would slide into it when I wasn't intentionally focusing myself. I would just doze into it again. So it stayed with me for hours. It was with me for hours. Even the next day,
Mm,
it was subtle, but it was still there. But it was subtle, and I was still kind of riding that aftermath of wow and that energy, and I could feel it kind of like softly um with me. You know, it's kind of like incarnation. Like once you kind of come all the way in to the so-called the physical, when you get kind of acclimated, that connection begins to kind of thin out a little bit and thin out a little bit and thin out a little bit. That's why we always talk about how children are a lot more intuitive than adults, and then as they begin to become indoctrinized and they begin to ritualize their material existence, you know, then that that connection continues to thin out. So that's what I've been experiencing. But the experience is so profound that I'm just left with all the things. I'm left with all the things of the things of the things of the things of the things. So it doesn't even need to be a completely like emotional experience now. It's like I mentally can recall it. I can even feel the
mm-hmm,
residual of it emotionally when I talk about it and think about it. Um,
mm-hmm,
it's just powerful. It's incredible. But that the first leg of this experience is that pull. The best way I can describe it is fighting sleep. Like that's the best way I can illustrate it. It's like that pull, like when you're trying to keep yourself from falling asleep and you just keep nah. That's what it's like. It's like that thing is pulling you in, and you are just. And one of the very interesting tr- components of this experience to me was like the dual consciousness. How I was able to be fully aware of what was happening in the car. I was fully aware that you were on the phone. I was able to intentionally come back and say, okay, this is what this feels like. This is, and then I was able to just go completely back into that trance. I was able to be suctioned right back into that reality and could still hear you, even when I was completely gone. Like I had this perfectly synchronized dualism of consciousness, even though I was both in and out of the body. But I was here and there perfectly present. And the same thing happened the last time in Atlantic City. Like my friend had thought that I would not be able to recall um, everything that was going on in the car on our way back to the hotel after my experience had happened. And I was able to recall everything. I was able to recall what he said, what I said, the conversation. Wow, I was completely gone at the same time. I was completely gone. I was off to see the wizard, and still could recall both realities in totality. In totality. And this is what makes this different from like being drunk. This isn't. It's not like you get faded and you can't recall. No. And it's not even reckless like being drunk either. Like there's no self-harminess. Even when I didn't trust myself to like, oh, like I'm not gonna be able to walk from the parking garage to the hotel, or I'm not sure if I can stand, even though there is a part of you that is biologically impaired, because at least where I am in the experience, and I'm with spirit in that experience, I make it to my destination safe. I make it across the street safe. I make it to my resting place safe. I'm not impaired in a way that like I'm going to harm myself or I'm going to do something destructive. There's nothing but good in a state like that.
What was your sleep like that night?
I dreamt the whole night. I was having a series of. I've been dreaming every night. I've been having just a series of dreams, and I know my subconscious is dealing with some things on a subconscious level. So I've been having a lot of dreams, but the sleep has been pretty. The sleep has been good. Um, I didn't have an appetite. I didn't eat for 2 days after that experience. I only had a drink of liquids. I had no solid food in my system for 2 days, and I still didn't even want to eat on the third day. But I forced myself to because I'm like, I don't know if I should go 3 days without something aside from fluids in my. Even though I know that people do like a water fast and all of that, but yeah, I didn't even have an appetite, and I know why. It's because I was spiritually satisfied. I was spiritually fulfilled. I be telling people all the time, a lot of like our appetite, our material appetite, and our impulses, they really come from spiritual deficits. Like we be trying to feel a void in us through eating, through shopping, through sexual pleasure, through etc. But the spirit is the core of that appetite. All of those other things are just your body's way of trying to get your attention about the soul or spiritual deficits. So sometimes we, in my opinion, we misunderstand and we misinterpret those impulses and appetite. I remember I was talking to our old friend Michael, the photographer. He had came home from work one day and he was like, "I'm hungry as hell." And then we had ended up on a porch and we ended up having like this weird like conversation. He was like, "I'm not even hungry no more." Like, yeah, because that's what the appetite was about. It was a spiritual hunger. You wasn't physically hungry, but that's the way that our body and our soul and spirit entanglement is all interestingly set up. And if you don't, and if you're not a very self-aware person, you might misinterpret what you think you need. And you might be thinking that you need something material to fulfill a thing that's actually really in nature spiritual. And then once you get to spiritual, that material void, that material impulse, that material desire, it moves away. So I didn't have to eat. I was drinking from literally the river of life. I was eating from the tree of life. I was drinking right from God's areola. I was drinking right from the divine's breast. I mean, this is the best way I can describe this stuff. I have to, illustrate this in the most practical way I can to help people to understand what's happening spiritually. I have to talk in these parables. But anything else you want to say to the point of cosmic?
No, you've given me a lot. I'm still chewing on all of this.
Bugs, anything that you want to add or say or?
Yes, I don't. I thought I would have some questions generated, but listening to it, I mean, listen to your experience. It just kind of made me go back in time when I had my ego death, when I had my experience with edibles for the first time, which it was in the contrast you were talking about. I had the other side of the contrast about it kind of being more so darker, or at least at that time interpreting it as darker. And one thing that you said that is true, that just continues to be a revelation to me, is that, and just a reminder as well, that when you partake of the herb, especially anything that's like psychedelic, you're going to be shown who you really are. Like you said, not what we put up to mask, but to see behind the mask and see if with the light on. Like, ain't no roach spirit in here. You can't run nowhere. There's no, you can't hide under no cabinet. You can't hide under the stove. You have to bear the absolute truth. And in my experience, like, I was really going off into the dark end because I was so depressed at that time with the situation that happened. But it was love that kind of kept me grounded. And I don't know if I want to talk to a lot about that experience, unless you don't mind me sharing it here, if
Yeah.
that's cool with you. During 2018, well, before what happened in 2018, I had met CTV, and Bay. We was like Beatrice Kiddo and motherfucking Pie May, and he was Pie May whooping my ass, the ego, every time, every day. Just no matter what I said, it was just always the spirit, the truth came in. And, after that point, you kind of start listening. So, I had a big test pop up, just like the music playing right now while I'm telling my story. But, when that test came, I thought I was prepared for it in a different type of way. But when I didn't get what I wanted, or the expectation of what I was trying to put in or build for did not happen, I felt very let down. And it was to the point to where I was contemplating self-deletion because of how intense it was. So at that time, I did start smoking weed to try to escape it. But then when I took an edible, which was the first time ever, I ended up getting it from my plug at the time before it became recreationally legal. It was a brownie, and the total milligram was 500. And they told me, don't eat this whole thing, because if you do, nigga, you will be in a coma for about a month, or you might be stuck. A vegetable, we don't know. So I said, okay. I ended up going home, and I ate a small corner of it. Didn't think much of it. Baby, when I tell you that even though CTV said his physical reality did not alter, it was more so internal, for me it was both. It appeared that all the colors, the vibrant colors, became very drained and dull. It was very grayish, lifeless, and there was this overwhelming feeling of I can't control it. See, when you smoke weed, you can get your high broken. Now, you might be a little irritated with that, no shade, but when you're taking the edible, you have to ride that out. So I was riding it out, and all of my dark, intrusive, depressing thoughts came rushing to the forefront. And there was like this intense pressure in my forehead where your pineal, your third eye is. And it probably didn't help that I stared at myself in the mirror for about 10 minutes. So maybe I don't know if that brought all that about, but it got so bad that I literally, because at that time I was living in a full house with my family, I literally had to get in the bed with my mom and be like, Mom, I don't know what the hell going on. No shade. And when adults are scared, I don't give a fuck how old you are, how strong you are. When some scary shit happen in your life, you probably will call for your parents. No shade. But my mom was there, and I was holding on to her hand, and I kept telling her, don't move, don't go, don't go. And I mean, real dark thoughts started happening where, oh my God, I'm going to have to go to the hospital because I ingested too much. Then it evolved into, oh my God, what if I go mentally insane and they put me in a mental asylum? Then it went even darker than that. What if I just get up and unalive everybody in the house and go down the street going crazy? Like, when you're in those dark spaces and you don't have any control, like the saying goes, something about an idle mind is the devil's playground. So in a sense, all these things were just rushing past, but it was love that held on to me. And I literally felt this energy as she was holding on to me. CTV even called me during that time, so he energetically knew something was going on. But I say every day now, I am grateful for that experience, because if that experience would have not happened, I probably would not be the guy that I am today. When I came out of that situation, I literally felt like a brand new person. I was so sensitive to everything. I was crying all the time. It took me days to kind of get reacclimated. But in a sense, it was like being born again. And that is something that is available for all of us. Like CTV said, if I'm in this state and I'm able to, you know, learn more about this state, to be able to control myself in this state with more intention and purpose, now that I'm connected to this unfiltered, unflinching, just unrestricted access and flow of love, then some real transformative shit can happen. And that's why I'm an advocate for marijuana. I feel like we should be able to utilize it in better ways as opposed to escaping our realities. Why don't we use it to face our realities? To be able to have spaces created to do such. And I'm excited for CTV and Cosmic to be able to explore that side, because I know that that is a side that can benefit humanity. But I think somebody else in the comments said it as well, that the powers that be don't want us to do that. They
Can I say
don't want us.
something?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say something super quick before I lose it. Because of what you just said about like how your experience was more like an ego death, and then I'm seeing people in the chat who are also are talking about like their experiences. And I want to say this, right? Because the running theme here keeps being that like I'm one of a few who have this level of experience
Mm-hmm.
with edibles, despite the milligrams, despite whether it's an indica or a sativa, like all of it is a gateway for me to go to
Mm-hmm.
this particular place. But what's interesting about that particular place is because I see Nichelle say that she's going through an ego death. So I want to tell people too, like I don't think there's a universal experience. I think that when it comes to these type of experiences that are brought on by, even if they're intentionally brought on, like if you intentionally meditate yourself into a state like this, or whether you are you activate an experience like this through cannabis or through drinking or through ayahuasca or DMT or edibles or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
that you have to realize that more, my personal belief is that your experience is going to be shaped by what you need. What you need. It's going to be shaped by what you need. Me and Cosmic have a similar attitude about spiritual experiences where I think in hoodoo, like there's not like a real strong concept of good or evil per se. I kind of think of that about spiritual experiences. Like all spiritual experiences are informative,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they are infused with data. There's no such thing as a negative so-called spiritual experience. You can only be enlightened by
Correct.
any and all experiences, even the so-called ego deathing experiences, etc. Like you're going to be sometimes brought into your condition, and sometimes you need to be brought into your own despair in such a visceral way, and even in such a vitriolic way, because sometimes that level of depth into something that contrasting and dark ends up being your very motivation to bringing your shit the fuck up and
Correct.
to make the changes in your life that make you a happier person, make you a more peaceful person. And so sometimes that contrast is the iron that sharpens your iron. So that's why I never really try to think of spiritual experiences as like, oh, there's a good or bad. No matter what it is, if you're able to really see and you have just a little bit of emotional intelligence, you're going to always be able to use any experience to better yourself. This is why the scriptures say that all things work for the well of the righteous.
Yes.
About the thing itself, it's really about the way you perceive any particular thing in your life that determines whether that thing, that event, that scenario, that experience will empower you or disempower you. You are the decider in terms of what any experience does for you.
Yeah.
No matter where it kind of ranks on the spectrum. So I want people to understand that yes, when it comes to these type of alchemical spiritual transformations, some of us are going to experience the light. Some of us
Hmm.
are going to experience the light of the flames of hell. In either way, there's redemption, baby. So don't worry.
Hold up the light.
Either way,
Okay.
baby, there's redemption. Okay, if you get to live to tell about it, you've been redeemed, bitch. Okay, whether it's the light of heaven or the light of hell, that
Be grateful for the light.
go through,
Okay.
there is redemption. But don't always have the expectations that a spiritual experience is going to be represented in some poetic angels on
Mm,
clouds playing harps and the ancestors and virgins dressed in white and the pearly gates. Don't even always think that God is going to represent itself, or a God sent experience, a God
mm-hmm,
sent messenger is
mm-hmm,
going to be represented in this kind of classic remedial hooked on phonicsy type of positivity. That would absolutely limit God and all of its attributes,
mm,
and it would disrupt something that's very necessary in order to really help a person, which is understanding their love language. Some
yeah.
people have to learn by way of darkness and trauma, and learn by way of sadness and
Mm-hmm,
depression and strife
mm-hmm,
and loss. This is why we have right, and we know that because we have so many underdog experiences, right? It took them to be adopted, to be thrown to the foster care system, to be raised by a dysfunctional person. It took all those so-called unfortunate elements to make them the multimillionaires they are today, to make them the community leaders they are today. Some of the best people have come out of the most painful
mm-hmm,
lived experiences. Have had some of the
mm-hmm.
most unfortunate earlier experiences in their lives. And all of that is to the point of what I'm saying is that there really is no such thing as like negative as in negative. Everything is
Right.
about how you utilize
Yeah.
everything in your life, how you utilize your experiences and what you allow them to bring out of you. So be very open minded when it comes to spiritual manifestations. Don't have this like black and white. And if it don't sound like this, it don't quack like this, it don't da da da. This and it must be the devil. You are literally limiting God by putting God into a binary, by putting
Mm-hmm,
spirit into a binary. Um, you want to just literally search. You just want to have your experiences and then have an honest reflection
mm-hmm,
of and if you have an honest reflection of your experiences, no matter what the experience is, whether it's an abusive one, whether it's an unbecoming one, whether it's an affirming one, are experiences that can leverage you in life and can
mm-hmm.
improve your life. But that's all I wanted to add.
No, no, and I thank you for that because I mean it goes back to what you and Cosmic said about the divine joke. Like you have a choice. You can choose to play into, like you said, the drama, and if you do, we human. That's a part of the contract. But to remind yourself that at the end of the day, you hold the keys to how you think and what you feel about the experience. And I think that's just information that we haven't been taught. We've been indoctrinated in a white evangelical led controlled narrative that told us and taught us not to be able to tap into the one place that God was the entire time, that they've been telling us that it does not exist, especially with us being people of the queer community. Oh, God ain't in you. God can't use you. But look at how transformative the queer community is, even in those spaces. So I think it's about learning how to love yourself more. And again, that's just information. What you do with that information is up to you. Which is why I enjoy having these conversations with people like CTV, Cosmic, and others to be able to give different perspectives that actually help to contribute to the gray area. That I feel like that's where God is. That's where the love is. Like you said, it's not just in the box. The box might be cool for you, but you limit yourself. You limit the possibilities that God, source, universe, consciousness has for you. And no shade, nothing beats the experience. I remember the pastor. at the time when I was going to church, who was kind of on a transformative type of slide, would say, God cannot be explained, it can only be revealed. You got to be able to experience. That's when you know it for yourself. And we've been taught not to experience those things because, like you said, if it does, oh, it must be the devil. No, no, it's you. You're the one limiting yourself. Are you afraid of what you will see? And again, the truth will set you free, but can you handle it? And that's for all of us. There are still some truths that I'm still learning how to deal with in my life. I'm pretty sure in the coming months, as I continue to grow in my own spiritual awareness, there's going to be more truths that I'm going to have to deal with. But you can get through it, though, through love. So, I mean, everything you're saying, tens across the board, tens across the board.
And I didn't want to keep this live stream too long, you guys.
Yes,
But,
yes, yes.
I will be going home and embarking upon a very unique and forward moving relationship with THC and cannabis.
Incredible
I will
Sunday.
be documenting things. We will be recording things. You guys are going to have an opportunity at some point to actually see what happens to me under this state in full. I have already made arrangements for that to happen. It's going to be a well facilitated event, and yeah, I'm sure that the next book that I'm going to be writing is going to definitely be about, you know, the metaphysical correlations between cannabis, the metaphysical, psychological, and biological correlations between, not even correlations. Well, yeah, the correlations and the benefits and, all of all of the all of the beautiful makings, like, all of the beautiful makings this of this plant and it's of this god plant and its psychotropic effects. We're going to get into all of that. This is really a new lane for me. And I'm sure that a lot of people are going to appreciate this in my life because
Hell yeah.
everybody in my life smokes.
Hell yeah.
Everybody in my life smokes. So it's like I'm now into that chapter in my life where I'm not about to be the oddball out.
Puff puff pass, bitch. Okay.
It ain't gonna be no passing. Only puffing.
He said,
So
bitch, you ain't put in on this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to come to y'all today. I know I haven't put out any content in 5 days. I know it's a lot going on in the celebrity world, honey. We will be getting into Beyonce. We'll be getting into Shannon Sharp. We'll be getting into Wendy Williams. We're gonna be getting into all those things, child. I said, let me come and talk to the people, but I thought this would make a really good live stream, and it also gives me an opportunity to kind of like document the experience verbally as well. But anything that you guys want to say before we close out of here?
I'm good. I'm good. If you want to follow me on my social medias, you can. Again, Bubs of God everywhere. That's it. But thank you again for the live. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Cosmic, anything that you want to say before we wrap up?
As always, I always appreciate the invitation. I always appreciate the love and the support in your community. And, as I said before, I'm excited about where we go from here.
Okay. And I'm glad you guys joined me. I'm putting you guys on Bubs to God on all socials. So I just put where you guys can find Cosmic, you guys, and Bubs on social media, YouTube, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Just type in this anywhere. It'll take you to their LinkedIn's and pull up all their stuff, chat. Thank you guys for holding the space and supporting me in this conversation. This was amazing. And we'll be coming back and having more conversations, you guys, about this going forward. We will be returning back to regular scheduled programming. I may even start a second channel, or maybe just kind of make my explorations Patreon material instead. I think that's what I'm gonna do, make it Patreon material instead. So Patreon is going to get really, really, really interesting. Okay, everything that I'm not going to introduce into the main channel, which is mostly celebrity gossip, etc., and trendy news, it'll be reserved for the Patreon audience. So I love you guys, and please thumbs up the video, share. And if you guys have any comments, any thoughts, etc., leave them in the comment section. Have a blessed Thursday, and we will see you guys later. Peace.